I'm Katrina, and this is my video response for my social work class on the TED Talk, The Mental Health System, A Call for a Change by Nora Blum. My response to this TED Talk was initially very positive because I also definitely agree with her that the mental health system especially in America, definitely needs a change for the better. I have had lots of occurrences with the mental health system personally, and I have had lots of positive interactions with it, but that's also because I had to go through a lot of friends and family members who have had lots of negative interactions. So it was mostly through trial and error. They had many my friends and family that I went through, they had very bad interactions. They had to go through many doctors that they were turned away from because their symptoms and their issues and their pains were not taken seriously until they finally found a doctor or a place or an insurance that would take them seriously, which led to me not have to worry about that as much. And that is something that everyone should have the right to. You should not have to worry about being turned away from a doctor because your issue is mentally related and not visible. Just because your issue is a mental health issue, it should be taken just as seriously, and it should not have a negative stigma related to it. And I think that is definitely a bigger issue also, which Nora Blum definitely touched on, but I think that is one of the bigger issues that people are definitely talking about a lot more, but I think that it still needs to be brought up a lot. The stigma towards mental health is still very, very negative, and I feel like that contributes a lot to why mental health is not taken as seriously, especially in the medical systems and the medical world, because there's just not as much research on it compared to the physical illnesses, I guess, because they weren't taken as seriously until later in history, which makes sense because we did not have the technology. So I definitely agree with a lot of the points and the issues that she brought up, and I really like the system that who she works for is starting with the technology and how people can go to the people who can help, the psychotherapists or psychologists, because suicide is a huge issue, which is being talked about a lot more, which is really great because it should not be something that isn't talked about. It's something that is terrible and it should not happen. It should be stopped before it happens. And the fact that they are trying to reach out to these kids who are about to commit suicide, I think that it's great that they're starting this, but I do agree that it's very sad that a lot of these kids don't have another option and they have to go to her and her company because they have been turned away and they don't have a better treatment method. So there definitely needs to be a change in the mental health system because there are too many mental health related deaths and there are too many people suffering in our society that don't need to be suffering.